In, how is it going, everyone? Welcome to Burnout Legends, the first Burnout game for the PSP, the PlayStation Portable, which it's pretty much what you, well, for what I've seen at least, it's what you will expect from a PSP version of an already existing game, which in this case is Burnout 3. But yeah, let's just see how it is. Yeah, save my profile. Yeah, new data, of course. So, you have a world tour mode just like the other one, but in this one, it's very specific with its class separation. So here you actually have to choose first the class and then the event. You have a compact, muscle, coupe, sport, and super. So some of them you cannot see for my camera, but it's those that I mentioned. And you can also pick between if you want to do like a race event or a crash event. For some reason it says that there are 100 golds for crash, but there are not that many per class, so I don't know what that means by that, but I'm gonna first go for a race. What you can pick is these 3 cars. There doesn't seem to be any sort of stats, so maybe I'm assuming that it's only visual. Well, if it is not visual, there is no way to see the difference, so let's assume it's only visual. But yeah, in terms of the gameplay though, for what I've seen in this first mission, that is the only one I tested, it's the same as Burnout 3. So nothing out of the ordinary there, but it doesn't have to be out of the ordinary. Well, obviously the music is still licensed, so I'm probably gonna have a couple of copyright claims. Now, I don't know if you might notice it on stream, because it's probably not super noticeable, but you might notice that when the game is in like the UI mode, when it actually shows something that is not the race itself, you will see that there are 2 horizontal black bars across the screen. So that's essentially something that happens because of texture filtering. Like essentially the simulator has 2 types of texture filtering. You have linear filtering and nearest neighbor filter. Essentially, as a way to oversimplify the explanation, nearest neighbor usually is something that tends to be more loyal to the original presentation. So by the way, what I'm saying applies to 2D textures, not 3D models. But yeah, textures like, for example, the clouds, when you use something like nearest neighbor, they essentially look like pixelated white pixels. Well, yeah, pixelated pixels. A little bit redundant there, but the point is that yeah, it essentially looks very pixelated instead of how it looks now, that it looks more accurately like, you know, clouds. But yeah, that has the disadvantage of adding those black bars that you might see there, but they are so thin that you probably don't even see them. Not to mention that it also depends on what resolution you're watching this. Like, unless you're watching it on full screen, I don't think that you can even see them, or they are just very small, right? But yeah, those are fixed if you use the nearest neighbor texture filtering, but as I say, you use that and the clouds become pixels. Which is how they look on an original PSP pretty much, but it basically makes everything else looks amazing and the clouds look so bad, right? So I decided to choose the linear texture filtering. It fits a lot better. Also, I didn't check, but I'm assuming this is a race event. Well, yes, it's a race, but I mean that the objective is to win the race, it's not to do anything else, right? I'm assuming it is. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I will assume it is. No reason not to. I like how awkward the spark effects in this game look. Oh yeah, this thing still uses the Imperial system for units. So yeah, this is the same as Burnout 3, like you unlock certain cars after a specific... Oh, you even have the takedown objectives. Okay. Wait, what? Road rage... Oh, I think I get it. Hold on. You have different locations, and each one has the events there. Didn't know that. Okay, so I'm assuming that when it says goals 13, it essentially means the goals of this category, and Crash says 100 because you can do them with any category. I think that's what it means. Well, regardless, let's just go to the next one. Road Rage, this is takedown objectives, right? Well, this car is also in the game. Well, I'm assuming maybe the cars are the same ones as Burnout 3 as well. 9 takedowns. Isn't 9 a little bit too big for the very first one? Like it is. I know this song. I think actually, didn't this song appear in Burnout Revenge? A possibility. I know that I heard it in another game. It would be a little bit fucked up if they recycle one song in 2 games, but if it's a cool song, why not? It does seem, however, that... Ouch. Hold that. Get his ass. That didn't count. It seems that, for the most part, doing takedowns in this game, I mean, I might regret saying it, but it seems a lot easier than in Burnout 3. In fact, it's possible that the takedown logic in this game might be more similar to Burnout Revenge than to Burnout 3. This Burnout 3, it seemed like it was specifically hard to take down. No. Okay. No, what the hell? How did that drift happen? I gotta be careful. Remember that in the road rage mode you can actually have your car obliterated. We don't want that. Unfortunately here, I actually got total. I want to retry, but they don't let me. When you unlock something, they don't let you retry. Not like I unlock anything. Hold on, no, go back. I'm not accepting a silver. Silver is an unacceptable result, and so is bronze. Oh, and here this game, just like Burnout 3, also tells you how to unlock certain cars. The question is, will one of these songs block the video in Russia again? Probably. It most likely will happen. But as long as it blocks them only there and not in any other country, it's not ideal, but better than having it be in world blood. Oh, there's something I didn't check. Is there a traffic check in this game? I kinda don't wanna try here since crashing actually has like a very bad... like a very bad consequence. Not as I say that doing takedowns was easier, struggling a little bit right now. What the hell? Yeah, but the silver medal is irrelevant. It's gold or nothing. It's gold or bust. What the hell was that? Damn it. Fortunately, it still says take down avenge when someone takes you down. Damn it. Am I gonna... Well, it doesn't say critical damage yet, but for how many crashes I got, it should probably say it. Or maybe it doesn't even say that you got critical damage. Just have to guess. Kinda doubt it. Okay, I got the gold, so whatever happens from now on is unimportant. I still feel that 9 takedowns for the first road rage event, it's a little bit too much. I don't remember how many it was on the on Burnout 3, like the first one. Okay, now it says damage critical. It probably said it on the previous attempt and I simply was not paying attention. That was also a takedown. Essentially, wall takedowns are the most common ones that you're gonna see. Yeah, I also remember that being the case in Burnout Revenge. I saw all of you 3 guys spawn right in front of me. Oh, that didn't say any... Didn't have any text on the takedown. Give me that gold medal. Oh, 3 cars unlock. I'm assuming it's because of the points. That's a lot of cars. Well, that's the Dominator, right? It doesn't tell you what the name is for some reason. Are in all of these Dominators? I think I look like they are. Not that one. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't tell you the name when you unlock it. What a snapshot. Why? Oh, it's a signature takedown, I see. Uh-oh. Oh, I was about to say that the game crashed. No, it just felt like showing me that picture for a long time. It's like it wanted me to see how nice the picture was. Right, airport terminal. Oh, wait a second. This is the... Oh, they added the pursuit mode from Burnout 2. Well, I wasn't expecting that. So they're actually taking not just from 3, but from 2 as well. And not to mention, this track is from Burnout 2, right? The airport terminal. The only problem is this annoying ass siren. Well, you can turn it off here. In Burnout 2, you could only change it for 2 different type of noises, but here you can just turn it off. That's great. Okay, where is the tar? Oh, there it is. Thanks. Pretty useful. So, how is it gonna work? In Burnout 2, it was a matter of hitting it multiple times. But here, will a single takedown be enough? Not sure how. What the hell? Where did you go? Well, the distance will say how close the area. The hill, no, it doesn't seem like you can take him down, guys. That hit that I did to him should have been a takedown normally, so seems that it does work like Burnout 2, where you just gotta hit him multiple times. It's also true that Burnout 2 had some weird instances where you could actually perform a takedown. Well, that was a takedown actually. What? That was weird. I mean, he did get taken down and then he respawned. Is that what happened? Very weird. Burnout 2 didn't have the concept of takedowns, but you could crush him in a way that it essentially resembled a takedown and you will capture him. How is he not dying, by the way? Oh, now he dies. It says takedowns 1. Does that mean that you can do more than 1? Not sure. Whatever. And then is there another event here? I mean, with this UI, it's hard to tell where the next event got unlocked. Well, apparently here we have another pursuit. The cop car looks pretty stupid, though. At least the compact one. I think that it would be nice if they actually added a different cop car for every category. Would be nice. Oh wait, something I didn't realize. You get a gold medal assuming you take him down before the 1 minute mark. I did not realize that. So I could have very easily not gotten a gold on the previous one. Okay, well, good to know. So is that could potentially make some missions very hard. Remember that in Burnout 2, some of the pursuit missions were things that I could barely beat. If I'm supposed to do it that much faster, it might be a problem, though. That one was pretty clean. But it was against an old car, it makes sense. Right. No, nothing there. I don't know what's the default place that they pick when... Oh, I unlocked this one. And I have any other one? Yeah, I have the Dominator, as I mentioned, and the Assassin. Just that not being able to see the stats makes it very awkward, I guess. How do I know how good this car is? Cop race, and it's a Formula car with a police skin. That's pretty funny. I'm not sure how forgot that this was supposed to be a race. That was a lucky escape, I agree. Took a while to do a single takedown. You know, this game seems that they simply went for 30 frames per second, because I'm assuming that with all the physics and stuff, trying to run this game on a PSP at 60 frames per second will have been too much. It's understandable. So, one game that is also a racing game and is also on the PSP that will run at 60 frames per second was Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer could easily run at that speed. It also looked pretty good. You always have to keep in mind when analyzing, you know, the way a game performs and the way it looks, is if it belongs to a handheld or not. So I think that with any game that belongs to a handheld, any sort of performance or graphical shortcomings are things that are to be expected. Like you cannot ask for too much. It's a different thing with, you know, modern consoles like the Switch, because the Switch is essentially market as a hybrid, which means that it should be both a handheld and a home console. So any shortcomings of that, even though they are easy to understand, they are still something that I don't think I should be, I should let them go scot-free. That's how they market it, that it can be both things at the same time. It's a very small thing, but I really dislike the way that when you look back, you cannot look at your car. I mean, it's not something that happens only on this game. It happened in every Burnout game so far, so it's certainly not a surprise, but I would like to be able to see my car from the front. But that's impossible to do unless you are in the car selection screen, so it's a little bit annoying, but it's fine. In a takedown. Oh, what? Oh, there is a passage down there. Or is? Yeah, there is. I wonder if this is a type of game that has the typical Need for Speed shortcuts. I don't know. Like places where if you go, it's very clearly faster than just going the regular place, but if that subway passage is any indication, I think that these ones are simply alternative paths that you take if you want to. They are probably not particularly faster, but I don't know. I think Burnout Revenge did have shortcuts, like alternate paths that actually made you take less time to reach the finish. I don't know if this one will be the same as, this game releasing between the two games. Like it released after Burnout 3 and before Burnout Revenge. Okay. A new car. We got 2 new cards. That one is not even for this category, so I guess I already have a lot of stuff that I cannot use, so that's fine. Also, when it comes to crash events, I think that this, you only unlock them. Well, it doesn't tell you how to unlock it though. But yeah, I guess I can worry about the crash events after I'm done with the race events from this category. Oh, Burning Lab. Well, at least here they call it Burning Lab and they don't just call it Special Event or Preview Lab, because that's what the name of the mode is, it's Burning Lab. But these are most likely gonna be the hardest ones. But they let you use cars that you haven't unlocked yet because they are from other categories. Now, this track was in Burnout 3, so I'm assuming that for the most part, you will have tracks that already appear in other Burnout games. Which, I don't think it's a bad thing, but it would be nice to see more original content, Even has the very annoying corner with the statue. Right, 55 seconds for gold. Unfortunately, it also does not tell you. But actually, that's very weird. Differently from the previous game, it doesn't tell you on the screen where where the next medal is. So it seems that with some of these you unlock, like some of these are considered special events, but the game doesn't really say they are special. Now, I think that... Oh, okay, the places that blink are the ones that have a new event. That's how you know where to go. Here we have a face-off. We're gonna unlock something. Like the way this car looks. Unfortunately, the colors are the same as in Burnout 3. Essentially 3 colors for each car, and most of the colors are very basic, so that's a shame, but it's the way it is. That's a pretty crazy... Oh, okay. It's a pretty crazy sounding engine because it's a pretty crazy car. This one is supposed to be the gangster, actually, right? This one was in Burnout 2. It sucks as a car, like it sucks to use, but it was in Burnout 2, so it's nice that it will include content from both games, to the point that I wonder if it will include content from the original Burnout, or if that's a game that they want to forget for you. So Burnout 1 was cool. The only problem with Burnout 1 is that it had a bug in a specific track where all of a sudden the guy behind you would overtake you, except that it wouldn't overtake you, it would just say that it overtook you. So you don't see him overtake, but when you look at the position, you can clearly tell that your position is not the right one. And your position says second instead of first, and then when you try to reach the first place, it's nowhere to be seen. That was the only bad thing about the first Burnout. Aside from that, it was a pretty cool game. Now I'm seeing some weird behavior from the traffic here. For example, did you see that one traffic car kinda like teleport? That's a little bit weird. Well, yeah, you can kinda see them teleporting, but I guess maybe it's more about a spawn issue. Like they are not fully spawned. It's kind of like the autocorrect. Well, not to mention that you can actually see them spawn right in front of you. Keep in mind, of course, that this is played in an emulator. You're actually seeing you're seeing an upscale version of the models, which means that you're of course gonna be seeing the cars a lot bigger than they would on a PSP screen. So in a PSP screen it wouldn't be that easy to tell they are spawning, since both the screen and the traffic car will be pretty small. But here, with a big screen and with a model upscaling, you can clearly tell that they are there, right? But it's fine. So I gotta say that the songs are very intense. I mean, they were also intense in Burnout 3, but they feel even more intense so far in this game. Also, I'm pretty sure that this track was the one from Burnout 2 as well. Like the Palm Bay or something like that. Which I'm pretty sure that it was meant to be something like Los Angeles or whatever. Well, actually here you have a map that tells you exactly where these things are supposed to be. Like here they don't beat around the bush. Here they tell you exactly where these are supposed to take place. But they don't tell you, they show you. And like you're gonna see the name of a real city, but they point in the map where they envision the places to be. I would like to see. I'm not an expert a USA geography. We'll see. That's a problem, because the race is out. Oh, nice, get on. I was about to say the race is out to be over. That guy was pretty close to me, but I guess not anymore. So is it really about to be over? Where is the finish line? I don't see it yet. Probably somewhere around here. I don't see it yet. Where could you be hiding? There you are. You know that I recognize this song as well, so I feel like most of these songs were in Burnout Revenge. Probably. But the gangster. So the airport terminal is supposed to be like in California, right? And okay, Palm Bay Marina actually takes place either in Florida for sure, but it's not Miami. It might be actually in like where this thing is pointing. That look like it could be Orlando easily, because Miami is supposed to be lower than that. That's pretty cool. And this Silver Lake, well, it's in the, I don't know which one that could be. Is New Hampshire around there? I don't know, like I know what's on the top east, like it's where New York and company are, but in the mid there, I don't know what states are there. Well, actually New Hampshire is also on the northeast, if I'm not mistaken, so I guess that one wouldn't count either. Yeah, I'm no expert when it comes to USA, but then again, pretty sure Americans themselves are no expert when it comes to you know, to pointing out things in their own country. So, well, I don't blame them considering that it's such a big ass country. No, see, the problem is that every time that I think about the East, or rather, when I think about the middle part of the USA, I tend to not think about the coastal middle part. I tend to think about, you know, shit like Dakota, you know, Texas, those sort of states. But on the coast, in the middle, I don't know. I legitimately don't know. Hey, I'm trying to think of names, but nothing really comes. How could it be? Also, this is an eliminator event, and the good thing is that it seems that they learned from the previous game that eliminator events were too long, so instead of having 5 laps for 6 competitors, they made it 3 laps for 4 competitors. But no, that's actually not the reason. I just realized. The reason is because the PSP doesn't seem to be able to process more than 4 cars at the same time, and more than 4 like racers at the same time. So that's the reason why there's only 3 laps, because you are not gonna have more than 4. Looking at it that way makes sense. Though I like to think that they learned their lesson, because if I'm not mistaken, in Burnout Revenge, they actually do make the eliminator event something based on a timer and not on laps. Maybe I'm wrong now, but I'm pretty sure that in Revenge it was with a timer. I could be wrong though. Maybe it's been so long since I played Revenge that it will be impossible to know. The good thing is that it seems that my opponents are pretty far here. Though in this eliminator event, I was also forced to pick like a specific car for some reason. Maybe it's because it's a special event as well. Yeah, that's the thing, maybe every event that is considered a special event will make you use something that, you know, a car that you don't necessarily have, but that you also cannot pick. Guy is approaching very fast. Hello. Well, he's already there. He looks pretty cool though, I gotta admit. But I actually really like the way that car looks. In fact, I conversely really dislike the way my car looks. My car just looks boring. No worries. We're crossing the finish line. We won't have to see it for the time being, that is. Yeah, that new award, I'm pretty sure it's because this was a special event. Oh, and I also unlocked this one, huh? Interesting. Okay. First car takedown. What do you mean first car? Oh, car takedown as in you make someone crash against a car. Gotcha. Okay. So there I could simply go to the Grand Prix, and just by going to the Grand Prix that will be enough to unlock the next category, but I want to do every event. Wait, compact collector. Oh, so that's what that thing was, right? Okay, but I don't like it. They pick the assassin. Really is regrettable though that there are so little options for colors, but it's fine. Oh, 12 takedowns? I feel like they are going a little bit overboard with the takedown objectives here, considering that these are only like the first event, right? Wait, hold up. Is that gangster car supposed to count as a compact? There's nothing compact about that car. This compact means something different in this game. Because compact is supposed to be something that you can store in a very small place. Or to make it simpler, it's supposed to be something small. You know? I mean, it's called compact precisely because it should be easy to move, right? To move around and to store. I don't think that the car is either of that. A little bit weird that it counts for this category though. At the same time, oh, I wasn't supposed to go from there. I was about to say that I didn't see it as a car that I could pick. Maybe I should pass through it. What the hell? How were none of those takedowns? Maybe I should switch the car. I mean, this one is called the Assassin. With the lack of stats, I think that the only thing that you can do is look at the name. I have one that is called Assassin. It's the one that I'm assuming that will be the best doing takedowns, but I guess no. And to be fair, I don't remember what the stats were like in the previous game. Because yes, this car exists in the previous game, but yeah, how am I supposed to remember that? So then again, none of the compact cars are supposed to have good weight stats. They are precisely supposed to be the first cars that you get, and it's precisely why I say that it's bullshit that the takedown count for gold is so high. I mean, sure, 12 is not extremely high, but it feels a little bit exaggerated. At least I got the gold here, so don't need to worry about anything. Ouch. Can I crash one of these? Wait, that's one of them. It seems like that counts, though. Unfortunately, impact time is something that doesn't seem to be that useful, all things considered. I remember that, for what little I remember, in Revenge it was useful because as long as you just touched the opponent that was approaching, you could already kill them. But in this one, it's not enough. But is that really the first psych-out takedown I have? I guess it is. And then a face-off. But yeah, it's here, the gangster. I'm gonna pick it against my better judgment, because if it drives like the Burnout 2 version, this one is not good. It's not a good car. What? Where did you go? Oh, there you are. You know what? I feel like Burnout is one of those games where it will be pretty nice that it had an indicator on the screen at all times where the cars nearby you are. So I guess at this point it was probably something very modern. I do know that Need for Speed Rivals has it. Well, that and pretty much most modern racing games have some sort of radar that lets you know where nearby cars are. Mostly because in real life, you will know if a car is close to you, because you will be able to look at the sides, and you will also be able to, hear more closely the sound of an opposite engine, and the fact that you can also look at a rear view mirror. Well, here you can look back like this, so yeah, that one wouldn't be the concern, but it's mostly the one about looking at the sides. Like in this game and in Burnout 3 as well, the hardest thing is knowing if one of these guys is next to you. You don't know. But obviously if they are in front of you, it is easy to tell. And if they are behind you, can use this. But yeah, if they are on your side, you don't really have any method to see them. Wow. Also, yeah, that's a very good confirmation that traffic check is not a thing in this game. And pretty crazy that traffic check is something that has not been a thing until Burnout Revenge. I guess it's more crazy that they actually bother putting it in the first place. So, you know what the previous, like a couple seconds ago, I was trying to push that guy against a car, and it's kind of like he just went through that car. It was a little bit bullshit. It's fine, don't worry, I'm gonna win. Surely. And you know that the face-off events always have the AI to be right on your ass. You're never gonna outrun them, you know. Doesn't work that way. Just like that. So this car that I face off against, oh, it's supposed to be it's one of the ones from Burnout 2. I don't remember the name, but it's the one that I keep thinking that is meant to be a Ford Focus, even though it might not be. Okay, so then okay, this one pretty much confirms that this place, this Winter City, is France, right? Like, what it's pointing there is France, I think. And then Dockside takes place in China, easily. Oh, what the hell? Okay. A little bit early to... Oh, that car looks pretty good. It's like the gangster, but golden. And it's the one that you get for getting gold in all race events. It is a burning lap, so it means that it will be pretty hard to probably, but especially if I already start crashing like that. Unfortunately, this game, it seems that it uses the same method for restarting as the previous one, which is reloading the whole thing. I wish it wasn't the case, but it is. Like, ideally, you would just want to have the restart being pretty fast, but I guess we cannot have that right here. So remember here that the gold medal is 1 minute 20. It's important. I also wonder how hard these medals are compared to Burnout 3, but looking at the previous event, it did look like you didn't have too much room for mistakes. It's like I got it by 3 seconds, not making any accident, which means that with an accident it probably wouldn't have been enough. We will see here though, because the respawn on that accident was pretty fast. So even with that one, it might still be enough to get the goal. Not to mention it's actually wide enough. I'm pretty sure the previous game had a hot, a burning lap in this exact same location with a very similar car. Sure. Fine by me. It's a shame though that the default option after you finish an event is no, actually the place that you're supposed to go. Now this is a little bit weird, because apparently there are 11 out of 13 golds, but I don't have any other gold here. I'm gonna check one by one. Maybe it's gonna unlock an event later. got all the goals already. Well, yeah, the only thing that I could think is that you will get another one later. Well, there is also another possibility though. The other possibility being that you, like the gold medals in Grand Prix work like in Burnout 2, you need to win every single individual race. I hope that's not the case, but it seems like it might be the case. But we still don't know how many races there are here. If there are 2 races, then it will be the sign that you might need to win every race. But if there are 3, then clearly no. I hope not, because it was essentially the hardest thing about Burnout 2. Having to win a championship. Well, in Burnout 2 you didn't have the option to retry an individual race. Instead, what you had is the option to restart the whole thing, and that's it. But in Burnout 3 you do have the option to retry individual races, which means that you could probably here, if you fail a race, just restart that race. That means that it wouldn't be that big of a deal, I guess. It will be mostly fine. Is that no matter how many polygons are involved, they always make the sun look pretty nice. I think in general it's probably the one thing that is the nicest to look at in a racing game. But assuming you are not driving at night time, obviously, that wouldn't be the case either. Put effort into making an accurate sun. It's what we all need to survive. Obviously. Hey, how is it going? What's up? Yeah, the sun, I feel like it's not just the sun, but the sky in general. In racing games is something that I think that can never be underestimated, because it really makes everything else look pretty nice. But you kinda, of course, want the things to the side of the track to also look nice. But I think the sky is a very big portion of it. Now, there is one thing that I noticed out this game that the other Burnout games have, but this game does not have, which is there is no special effect when you use the boost. When you use the boost, of course you go faster, but it doesn't show any graphical effect. It doesn't show a distortion or the camera going, more to the back to show like a sense of speed. So in that regard, it seems that they didn't really do much. I mean, I guess it does go a little bit to the back, but not really. I think only during the initial burst. Afterwards, it just kinda looks as if you were driving normally, with the exception, of course, that the exhaust pipes release like a little flame. A little bit of a very sad looking flame, but again, just remember that this is PSP, so we cannot get very picky with the graphics, That they did what they could with what they had. But I'll say that visually, Ridge Racer looks superior. Ridge Racer on the PSP. I don't know how it's gonna be progress-wise, because the thing about the PSP Ridge Racer games is that half of it, or more than half of those games, are extremely easy. To the point where you will have to be actively trying to actually lose, you know? Okay, it says race 1 out of 3, so that means that you do not need to win the individual races. So that means that they have to unlock an event after you get the gold medal, right? Like after you beat the Grand Prix, aside from unlocking the next category. Unless it's something that will only happen at the end. They will only unlock it right at the end and not while you beat the category. It could be the case, yeah. Get on. Oh, that's a double takedown, yeah. Pretty cool. You know, today I was thinking about yesterday's game, well, the game that I've been playing these days, which was Sonic and the Secret Rings. And the soundtrack that the game has is very good. But it's as I was saying while I was playing. Artistically, the game is pretty well done. Shame about everything else. In fact, you know, that's probably why I haven't heard people talk that much shit about that game. Because you know a lot of people, even though some of them look for a minimum in quality, not everyone values gameplay as much as I do. Like a lot of people value graphics a lot. A lot of people value story a lot. I don't. Like, the thing that I obviously value the first in a game is gameplay. If the gameplay is shit, then the whole game is shit. It's as simple as that. Even if the rest is very good, it doesn't matter. If you fail at the gameplay, you fail at the game. So maybe that's the reason why I haven't heard so many people talk shit about that game. Because maybe when they listen to the music, they look at how the game looks, they look at the story, that even if it's nothing out of the ordinary, at least it's not the mess that Sonic 06 was. Maybe that's why they don't talk as much shit about it. But the most likely scenario is that nobody played that game. That's the most likely scenario, that a very small portion of people were able to play that game. And it makes sense considering that, like, unless you have patience with the emulator, you kinda have to play it with a Wiimote in an actual Wii. And that's something that, unless you were there, and unless you specifically purchased that game, that back then, since internet forums were not that popular, would probably see something in like more centralized review pages, right? And I'm pretty sure that's a game that doesn't have good reviews as expected. So maybe a lot of people didn't bother buying it. Not to mention that in the Nintendo Wii you have so many good games to play instead of that shit. Well, you also have a lot of worse games, but yeah, the Nintendo Wii is one of those consoles that has a very wide library, and unfortunately in that console's case it means that it's mostly filled with shit, but the good games are just very good. That's the thing about the Nintendo Wii. It has a lot of shit, but like, it has very low lows but very high highs, you know. That's how the Nintendo Wii's library is. And of course you could say that about most consoles, but I don't think that's the case. For example, the PS2, which I consider to be the best console ever with the best library, it obviously has stinkers, but they are so few of them, I guess, or they are so, you know. Wait, what the hell? Did you see that? 38 seconds ahead? That has to be a bug. Actually, you know that I think when I was looking at this game's compatibility, I think I remember someone mentioning something like this. That in Grand Prix, for some reason, after the first race, the opponents kinda stopped going fast. But it didn't get confirmed as if like being an emulator thing or being a bug that happened in the real game. So I think it was specifically after the first lap. Like after the first lap, these guys just give up. Will that be the case? I wonder. The guys just died. Well, if that's the case, that would be a shame, but if it only affects Grand Prix, I don't think I care enough, because we already saw that in races it doesn't affect it. It doesn't affect it in face-offs either, so if it's only in Grand Prix, it's whatever. It's a shame though, because the hardest events in Burnout 3 were Grand Prix, and obviously I got pretty salty at them, so the fact that the Grand Prix will probably be free from now on, it's not like it will be bad for my health. If anything, it will be beneficial. So I want to check right now. So a lap has passed, right? But the AI doesn't. Oh, okay, hold up. They seem to... I'm slowing down on purpose because I want to observe their behavior. Well, for now it seems like they are behaving normally. But I kinda just saw them grind the wall and not really... That was my bad. Maybe what happens is that if you don't look at them, they don't rubber band like they usually do. So when you're not looking at these guys, what they do is they rubber band. So maybe that's exactly what the bug is about. That after the first lap of a Grand Prix, they don't rubber band anymore when you're not looking at them. Right, so let's try to get slightly further. Well, that guy is still there though. Oh. I don't know, though you can still see the AI doing some very weird shit, and I don't know if that's normal or not. It's like they don't even try to take the corners, and keep in mind, this is the only guy I'm seeing. The other two guys are absolutely lost. So I'm assuming the only reason why this guy is still here is because the game still process the whole AI. Like it still didn't resort into like the nasty rubber banding that they have when you're not looking at them. But if I were to get far from him, he probably wouldn't recover. It's just that I'm not able to get far from him, so I guess it's only a problem if you're too good, right? But whatever, I win. Here, you can see, look at the other two guys. They haven't shown up yet. I think they are only gonna show... Yeah, that guy showed up like, I don't know, 10 seconds later. And the last one, unless I missed it, is nowhere to be seen. Damn. That's fine. So we unlock the muscle car, and those are the 3 cars we unlock. These are the same ones from Burnout 3. Well, at least I remember the previous one and this one. I don't think they are the exact first 3 you unlock. I don't remember exactly which one were the first 3, but I do remember those cards. I also unlocked this thing because of takedowns. We unlocked the muscle category, but before that I want to check. Oh, there is another Grand Prix. It's the Legend Grand Prix. So can I play it? I wonder. Yeah, but you are only allowed to play with Legend cards. So you either pick the Legend Compact or the Gangster Legend. I'll pick the Legend Compact. So this is just a Grand Prix like the previous one, right? I don't think... Should I leave them for the end? Like beat everything else and then go for every Legend GP? Or should I do it now? I mentioned some of these cards I don't have them. Well, depends on the difficulty, because I personally, in racing games, I don't like the idea of driving a slower car after having used a faster car, which will mean that I would rather do this now than do it later. Though I guess what I should have done instead of this, well, I could still do it actually, like before I keep, you know, progressing. What I could do now, and I think it's a good plan, I could do some of the crash events, and after I'm done with whatever crash events there are, I can continue with that Grand Prix, just to mix it up, because otherwise if I do all crashes or all races in a row, I guess it can get annoying. Already the first one is called Trailer Trash, pretty funny. I wonder how the system is. I'm assuming it's the same system as... No. You're supposed to crash against a car. You didn't crash against anyone there. So there weren't any cars in the first place, so... Nowhere did you want me to go. So there is still a jump start here. Right, instead of that, maybe I should not take the... See, okay, so I either don't do the jump start or I don't take the booster here, I guess. Both things are making me go so fast that I cannot even crash against anyone. Which is pretty stupid. Okay, I'm gonna do the jump start and not take the boost. I don't know if it's the right idea. We could try. I don't think it was a bad idea. So the crash breaker is still an explosion. That had to be enough because we don't have any more traffic cars in here. But there wasn't... Oh, it was more than enough. I don't know if they are multipliers though. I didn't see it in this one. Wasn't necessary either, but maybe they are gonna put the multipliers later. You unlock 2 new events. And yeah, you unlock more locations even. So, something that I guess that you could do, because you know that these crash events are independent from the other type of events, right? Like you play crash events to unlock more crash events, the same way that you play more race events to unlock other race events. So I think in that regard, maybe what I would want to do is to, you know, play like, I don't know, 20 crash events per category. I guess playing them all in one go would probably be tiresome, so maybe you want to alternate it with each race. I'm not sure what I want to do. because they are completely independent. It's kind of like the same thing that it was in, you know, in the previous game. Like you could play crash events or you could play race events and they unlock themselves, right? So here I think that it's even more clear. Well, that's one thing that I'll give this game, that the UI and the way the progress works is way more understandable than in the previous game. Oh, I missed the shot, that's a problem. I still don't see any multiplier, by the way. So that's not a bad thing at all. If anything, that's something I certainly prefer. Okay, how did we completely miss the other lane? What the hell? There is a big crash and nobody gives a shit. That's fucked up. It appears that the only way to get additional score for now is picking up these coins. That seems to be the only thing that matters. The problem is that the ones on the second lane are olympically ignoring me. Because I'm pretty sure none of the guys from the other lane crash. And considering the very high objective from this, it might not be enough to get the goal. Correct, it wasn't. But how do I get both lanes? Because the first thing to crash is a very... they don't let me retry. That's one thing that I also criticize from Burnout 3. The fact that when you unlock something, instead of letting you retry, it forces you out of the mission. Or well, event, whatever you want to call it. I wish it wasn't like that. But it is what it is. I don't have any way to hit that track like harder. I could hit it from the side like that though. It's that I also missed a lot of cars on the way there. But this could be enough to get the goal. In fact, the camera is not really showing it, but there are a lot of things that are crashing. I mean, I guess it mostly tries to show them. Will it be enough? I don't think it will, actually. It isn't. So I don't know, what sort of magic do you want me to do here? There is no multiplier either. Even after picking every coin, it wasn't enough. I guess the mistake here is having the objective so high. Something that also happened a lot in the previous game, that some events have an unreasonably high objective. You know, as long as I cannot make the guys on the other lane also be part of the crash at the beginning, this is not gonna work. I'm not sure how to do it. It seems pretty hard. Instead of a truck, it was a lighter vehicle. We'll just push it to the other side, but this one unfortunately fails at that. And I tried to hit it from the front so I can go to the other side, but it doesn't work. This might be a problem. Because at least with the multiplier in the previous game, you could get away with a lot of stuff, but here doesn't seem like it works that way. Really tried to hit it sideways though. I mean, that I also have kinda... Okay, that worked actually. That fully worked. It could still not be enough, don't get me wrong, but the fact that it worked, yeah, it did work. We don't know. Yeah, this one was enough. So I gotta assume that unless the required scores for gold get to 2 or 3 million, that there won't be any sort of multiplier in this game. I guess in a way it's nice that I don't have to worry about getting something that is mandatory, but at the same time, keep in mind that I'll still, you know, get the little coins, but I'm pretty sure that might be a little bit close to mandatory. Hopefully not, though. Guess the coins more or less tell you where the crash is about to happen, or where it's supposed to happen. Well, this one should be more than enough. To the point that I wonder why the objective is so low. You have many cars here, right? Yeah. And having the objective be 190,000 when you can get triple that, it's a little bit stupid, but sure. It's just like in the previous game, it seems that the objectives were mostly, you know, randomly generated. Also got a headline, so this game also has headline shit. Maybe I'm gonna do 10. Like, I'm gonna do 10, then go... I guess I could do that. Like, I could do half of the race events, and then 10 crash events. Then the other half, then 10 crashes. That it's the best way to diversify the events that I do. Uh-oh. Was that the right call? I mean, it should work. Unfortunately, the other lane kinda got unattended, but it's true that it's also a small objective. I did miss the coins though. But it is a small objective. I don't think it's that small for this one to count. Yeah, unfortunately... Well, actually, if I had picked the coin, I think it also wouldn't have been enough. Here the problem is... Oh, I can actually retry. See, that's the thing. I can retry this one because I didn't unlock anything. That's essentially that's a skill issue from the developer side. Basically making the user do something annoying for something that they couldn't figure out. In this case, it's if a player, you know, doesn't see the unlock when it happens, then the unlock is not gonna happen. So that should be something that they should have solved in a way that doesn't inconvenience the player by not allowing them to retry. So yeah, that's, as I say, developer skill issue. But it's fine. It's not that big of a deal, I guess. Just that I guess it wouldn't be that big of a deal if the loading screens weren't long. And I mean, they are not that extremely long, but they are quite long. So if you want to retry something without pressing retry, you have to see, you know, a lot of stuff before you can actually retry. Not gonna be good enough. Oh wow, what was that explosion? So there are a lot of ones that... Yeah, the crossroad really didn't get anything, so I think this is gonna be a failure. I didn't hit anyone in the crossroad. Oh, but it was still enough. But I'm glad. But what I also don't know is... I'm assuming it is enough, but I don't know if you can like beat all of the crash events by just playing crash events. I gotta assume it is enough, but who knows? Yeah, as I say, I'm gonna do 10. Then I'm gonna, well, I have to do the remaining Grand Prix that I didn't do, and then do, you know, the muscle events. That's the idea. That's my plan, personally. That, unfortunately... Oh, actually, a car went to the other lane by pure accident. Yeah, that was good enough. Poor little car. Never mind the traffic though. My poor little car wouldn't survive much there, I guess. Continue. Here we have, oh yeah, well, yeah, this is the, so this one is supposed to take place in Spain. I mean, I guess it makes sense because of the name Riviera, but so this one was meant to be Spain in the previous game. They were not all supposed to be Italy. In fact, now I'm having my doubts if any of them was meant to be Italy. Maybe none of them was. I got the cash bond. Oh, that's a problem. Unless the crash was good enough to get both lanes. No, it wasn't. Clearly wasn't. Damn it. It is one of those places where you can just easily jump out and die. It's fine. This is time I actually did get a jump start. But it's very hard to stay in place. In fact, I couldn't. But I think I did get both lanes. Yeah, I did. The only thing that I didn't get is the gold coin. And that's nice pixelation on those mountain textures. It was enough for gold. Though, not by much, right? Wasn't the objective 300,000? Well, the game doesn't tell you, but it probably was. Yeah, the bus just fell off the side of the road. He wanted to chase me. I don't blame him. Okay, and this one that says Vineyard is supposed to be... Denmark? Isn't that Denmark up there? Right, like very to the west? Or maybe it's not. To the northwest of Europe, that is not obviously the UK, it has to be Denmark, right? Or am I going crazy? Apparently it's a place that has a lot of vines. I don't know if Denmark is known for vines or not. I mean, what I know that Denmark is known for is for the Tale of the Little Mermaid and Lego. Those are the two super popular things that came from Denmark. Yeah, I don't know if that is that country in the map or if I'm extremely ignorant right now. Could be both. Could be a mixture of both. So, we can do one more event and then go for the Grand Prix. So we already assumed that this one was gonna be France, right? Since it's at the north of Italy. Like the country that is at the north of Italy is France, I think. Germany is close to. I don't think it's. Actually, I don't know if it's as close as France or if they are both close. Hard to tell. I wasn't supposed to crash there, I think. That looks pretty funny though, look at that. Try to do that on purpose and see if you can pull it off. Can you pull it off? I don't think I can even pull it off again. And that was crazy. The car just menacingly vertically standing in the middle of the road. I think that was more scary than the crash itself. That certainly was pretty menacing. Okay, so you were intended to hold on to this point here. It's that I think that I didn't get the cars on the other lane, and indeed I didn't. So this might not be enough. It most likely is not enough. I think that you're intended to hit the explosion. Oh, it is enough. Nice. Cool. And these are 10, right? With this gold medal, I think. We have 10. If that's the case, we're gonna go straight to the Grand Prix. Yeah, it is 10. Right, on to the Grand Prix we go then. And then I guess after the Grand Prix we could do the other 10, since the idea was doing like, you know, half the events crash, the other half crash, but since I didn't do the first 10 crash events in the middle of the compact ones, I guess we will have to do it after this. It will be a little bit close between both of them, but I think it's a good plan. You know what I always say, that variety is the spice of life. So you really have to combine events like that. And thankfully in this game, as I mentioned, it's easier to understand how the unlocks work, and more importantly, it actually tells you how many medals there are per type of event. So they did that very well, I guess. I really thought that it was pretty confusing in Burnout 3. I mean, obviously once you already play Burnout 3, it becomes very obvious, but not quite very obvious. Like, you should know how it works, but if you had to say what mission unlocks what other mission, wouldn't have been very easy to do. I guess not really. Props to this game for including the pursuit mode from Burnout 2. Because I'm pretty sure that not even Burnout Revenge included that mode. I think that Burnout Revenge included the same modes that Burnout 3 did. So the crash mode worked slightly differently. Oh, that reminds me, speaking of things working differently between games, I actually investigated. You know that I mentioned Sonic Unleashed, that has essentially two completely different versions. So, Sonic Unleashed has 4 ports. It has a PS2, Wii, PS3 and Xbox 360 port. So the PS2 and the Wii ports are the exact same, and it's the one that I played when I was younger. But the PS3 and X360 ports are different, and they have more content, and they also change the way some things work. Like, for example, in the PS2 version, you get medals by doing the missions in a specific amount of time, but apparently in the PS3 version you're supposed to find the medals instead. Well, you have 2 more zones that are not on the PS2 version, they also changed the way that the day stage versions work. Apparently they made it, so you could have upgrades and shit like that. Kinda like Sonic and the Secret Rings now that I think about it, which is not a good thing at all. But they did that, and then I think the final boss also works differently, which is a problem because you know that I mostly remember Sonic Unleashed as a mediocre game, and in my head the only exception is the final boss. Like, I remember the final boss of Sonic Unleashed being very, very cool to play. So if they changed that and like they made the only thing that wasn't mediocre different, I kinda fear playing that game. But I don't plan on playing it anytime soon. I mean, after the experience that was Secret Rings, honestly, Sonic can be in the backlog for a very, very long time, and it will fully deserve it. No problem. Okay, so it seems that here, as you can see, the AI stopped doing the rubber banding, so they're probably gonna finish the race with an insane amount of seconds of advantage here, so yeah, you can easily expect that, without a doubt. But well, the good thing is that a crash like that is irrelevant. After having such a long distance between me and the second place, there is no fear of losing whatsoever. Okay. So I gotta say that the songs sound a little bit distorted, and I think that's because the game is very loud. I think that might be how you hear it on a PSP as well. I mean, after all, it's not like the PSP will have like amazing speakers, because differently from a home console, the speakers from a handheld console do not depend on the television that you connect with. They have speakers included into it, of course, and those speakers, with just like anything that is handheld, is not gonna have the greatest quality, right? Oh, that also reminds me that today I tried to investigate more about like microphones and OBS filters and shit, and I came to the conclusion that the problem that I have with my microphone, or rather the problem that I feel like I have with my microphone, is something that will probably get solved with noise cancelling, which is something I don't have enabled. I have a noise gate which allows you to not hear noises that are range from a certain amount of decibels, right? For example, someone could be listening to music in another room, and if that wasn't there, you will probably hear it very quietly, but you will hear it. But with the noise gate being enabled, you cannot hear it no matter what. So that's a good filter, but noise cancelling is not only supposed to do that, but also kind of filter out anything that is not your voice. And since I have an NVIDIA video card, I can actually have that filter that allows me to do that. So that's something I could try. I think that's something that wouldn't be a bad idea to try. I also don't really want to work out my my GPU too badly, because I mean, keep in mind that not only I will be using it for that filter, I'm also using it for streaming, because the encoder that I'm using is the NVIDIA encoder, and that's part of the video card. And you have to add that the fact that I'm playing games, and the games are being processed by the GPU, with some very small exceptions that are processed exclusively by the CPU, which are, you know, games like Toho. Well, actually, I'm not very knowledgeable about how that works. I think that they delegate some processing to the video card, but I'm not sure exactly how much. But I believe it or not, even though it's more or less a standard nowadays, not every game process using the GPU. Like, some of them fully rely on the CPU. And not only that, some emulators fully rely on the CPU. The biggest example is essentially Mame, which is the arcade emulator, right? So that emulator does not use a graphic card whatsoever, which is the reason why I will not play some games with the previous PC that I have, that thankfully I can now play them. But yeah, there's also the fact that unfortunately, with some of the most, you know, heavy games that require a lot of processing for Mame, is that a lot of them are not properly emulated either. A very good example is Virtua Fighter, the first one. That game theoretically runs in Mame. The problem is that it runs as in, you know, the graphics get wrong, the audio works, and you can even control the characters. But you know, that was pretty funny. But the hit detection is completely broken, so it essentially makes the game unplayable. Or rather, you can play it, but you are essentially, it's like you're playing a slot machine, because the hit detection is completely random. So there is no skill involved in winning or losing, for that matter. But unfortunately, a lot of the games on Mame don't run. It is what it is. It's also true that a lot of games do run. They tend to be very, you know, small games. Or when I say small, small is not the right word. More like simple games, right? A lot of very simple games. It's whatever. I don't particularly mind, since for the most part, most games are playable in one way or another. There are only some very small exceptions that are unplayable no matter what, but that game, for example, Virtua Fighter, you can emulate the Sega Saturn port. So that's a problem in itself, since Saturn emulators are trash. But the thing is that it's possible if you really want to. And the Saturn version, I think that is almost like a one-on-one recreation of the arcade version, just with, of course, some console content. Wait, how was that a crash? What, did I crash sideways against the bus? Uh-oh. I think the game bugged. Thankfully you can access the menu. The game actually bugged. because I apparently crash against the boss, but there's nothing I can do. So on the right side, this is not a soft lock, you can simply restart. No problem. No panic. No need to panic. But that was awkward. I mean, the crash itself was awkward, but even more awkward that I didn't respawn. No problem, dude. It has a solution, so there is no reason to freak out. Though it would be a problem if this game would feature endurance events. We already know that Burnout doesn't work that way. Like, imagine this was Gran Turismo, right? In Gran Turismo, you have an accident and you are soft locked on like the third hour of an endurance. You show, bro. That I want to, something that I probably will do, I mean, sometime after I beat this game, probably will do Gran Turismo 3 and 4 arcade modes. They shouldn't take a long time, assuming they are as long as the ones in 1 and 2. Wow, I got confused there. Didn't know where to go, my god. Laps are relatively short, though, things considered. They're not really that long. And it would have been pretty nice to have a PSP when I was a teenager. There are so many games I would have enjoyed a lot more. I'm pretty sure that back then, over here, it was a very rare console. Like, it was very easy to find PS2s that were like jailbroken, which means that you can install non-original games in it. But I'm pretty sure that for the PSP back then, at least, I don't know if it was that common, because I don't think the PSP was a popular console. You gotta keep in mind that in South America, and my country is essentially the biggest example of it, the most popular games are football games, or for Americans. Well, actually, you know, since my biggest audience is Americans, I guess I should clarify that every time that I say football, I'm talking about soccer, right? Like English football. So yeah, the most popular games over here are football games, and the ones that everyone played back then were Revolution Soccer, which the PS2 version was extremely popular. A lot of them also played ROM hacks. Like back then, ROM hacks were sold at stores, and not official ones, obviously. I mean, the same stores that you would purchase, like the pirate games, like the non-original games, right? So, in that regard, I don't think there was much of a reason for the PSP to be a thing when most people just wanted the PS2. I got all of the easy takedowns, and that unlocks a trophy. Well, it's the same thing that I had in Burnout 3. I think the only group of takedowns that I completed were the easy ones. Okay, so with that done, we can do the 10 more crash events and then head out to the muscle category. Also, the name of these crash events seem like they are exactly the same as the names of the crash events in Burnout 3, but they are not the exact same crash events. Well, in the first place, because they are not, they don't have a multiplier, you know. So that already makes them impossible to be the exact same events, but I don't think that was a good crash. But since you never know how to see, it wasn't. I guess it's always a good idea to let it rip. But yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, the original Neptunia games, were they on PS2 or were they on PSP? I have no clue. I mean, a game like that is something that my parents would have never purchased. Not because it's degenerate, but because they will think that it's a game for girls. They will be pretty wrong, but I don't blame them. What do you think of the music in this game? I like it. I mean, it's the same opinion that I have of the music in the previous game. Wait, did I even get anyone on this lane? The Burnout music in general is cool. I mean, the thing about racing games is that, with the exception of most Ridge Racer games where the music is trash, racing games tend to have very nice music, you know? Like, if anything, Ridge Racer is an exception to the rule, which in itself also has an exception to that, which is Ridge Racer 4. It's the only one that actually has good music. But yeah, racing games tend to have a pretty good music. But in this case, the music is not like it was music made for this game. It's licensed music, but it's still a very nice choice, considering that these are all very like energetic songs for a very energetic game, you know? I think it serves its purpose very well. I don't know what you think about it, because for what I remember, you speak positively about Burnout 3 soundtrack, so I'm assuming that you also like the soundtrack of this game. This is pretty much the same style of soundtrack, right? Yeah, I like it. Oh, I got a headline. I think here the headline thresholds are a lot lower than in the previous game, and that's because of the lack of multipliers. Yeah, so you can see that the name for these crash events are the exact same. Like, I remember this one that was called Get Bent. Well, in fact, it wouldn't surprise me for the most part. Half of the events in this game, including the racing events, were the exact same as in Burnout 3. Pretty lazy, but considering that this is mostly meant to be a... I ignored everything right there. Pretty cool. That's not gonna work. But yeah, I was out to say that, considering that it's supposed to be a portable version of Burnout 3, I guess it makes sense. I think it might only apply to the crash events, actually, because when it comes to the race events, the fact that there are tracks that were not available in Burnout 3 means that it's pretty clear that not every event is copy-pasted. It cannot possibly be copy-pasted if they are different tracks. I think the crash events all take place in the same tracks as Burnout 3, so them all being copy-pasted will make sense. See, the problem is that explosion is counterproductive. Normally explosions in the crash mode are useful, but here it's making me miss the track. Maybe I shouldn't do the jump start, but I feel like not doing the jump start is a huge disadvantage. I guess I should be better at aiming, and that's it. Yeah, and those guys should cover the other lane for me as well. That should be good enough. Unfortunately, this game also shares the same camera problem that Burnout 3 has with the impact time, where you cannot possibly look at where you are going. Which I'm pretty sure it's the reason why Burnout Revenge, instead what they did was making like a camera that points from the top, so that way you could always see where you're going. The only problem with that is that you cannot really see what's far from you. It is what it is. Wait, why cannot I pick this? Oh, it's because it was... Just that since the option was blinking, I thought that was the one that is selected, but no, the one selected was the one logged. So here they also do that weird thing where they, for some reason, make the unlocks non-linear, even though there is zero benefit from doing that. Yeah, sure, why not? I couldn't get the explosion, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna get an explosion on my own. So the good thing about the explosion is that it actually, like the pickable item of explosion actually gives you a small score bonus on the total. And that wasn't enough. I think I could have done that much better, though. I guess you're supposed to pick the gold medal. What was the objective for gold? 250? It's a little bit exaggerated. Simply because there are not enough cars There are not enough cars for that, right? The amount of cars is very, very little. And they're the same thing that I say that I didn't want to happen, which is the explosion making me miss other cars, but it worked well. Look at those guys. We had to keep going until they run into an invisible wall. Okay, okay, that one bus actually crashed, and that was enough. And maybe that last bus did not crash on the previous attempt, because ironically the fact that they are crashing against each other and moving so much might be precisely what it's not making them clog the traffic properly. Alright. 5 more of this and we'll go to the muscle category. See what they have in there. Say 400,000, right? Oh, hold on. That seems to be the right place. I didn't pick up the medal though. I don't think the medal is necessary whatsoever. The medal, and well, the coin, whatever you wanna call it. Whatever you wanna call it, that thing. Oh, look at those guys going to the beach. So that will not be enough. Every time I don't pick up the gold medal, it seems that I miss out on the... Well, I mean the gold coin, I miss out on the gold medal. Even though if I pick up the gold coin... Oh, actually it might have been enough. With that score difference. Might have actually been enough. My bad. I think I skip a lot of traffic there that I could have used. It might have been a problem. Not to mention, the worst part of this is that I'm also going pretty far. Also, did we miss those tracks on the other side? No, okay. We can easily see we didn't. And yeah, that gold coin is the only thing that allowed me to actually get the gold medal there. So it was a good choice. Okay. We're doing a lot of this. Actually, what country is that supposed to be? Because is that... What island is that? Is that part of Thailand or is that a different country? Because I know that the island on the southeast of China is Hong Kong, right? But the island that is there, is it part of Thailand or is it its own thing? Not sure. I mean, in the previous game I say that this place was meant to be Thailand, and it most likely is. So I was supposed to take the champ or what? I guess we're not taking the champ. Only we missed that track, so... And not to mention that without the coins, it's not gonna be much. And there doesn't seem like there are that many cars in the first place, so... that this won't be enough whatsoever. It wasn't enough. You're getting a little bit picky right now with the gold medals, it seems. It's fine. Yeah, this one is 405,000, so it is more than the previous one. You're clearly there. Oh, actually that worked pretty well. Like the cars that I crashed in one of the lanes very easily went to the next one, but essentially those two pieces of traffic are the only thing that you have in this event. Oh, fuck, that would have been enough with gold. So are we actually doing this? Are we getting to the point where if you are not perfect, you're not getting the gold? Because if that's the case, I don't know if I want to go for all crash events. Like in the previous game, I went for all crash events because for the most part, most of them were extremely free. So it wasn't a big deal to get gold. There were some exceptions, and this one might be one of them, but so far there is 2 events in a row that unless you do it perfectly, you are not getting the gold, so I don't know about that. Not sure if I like that too much. Now, the problem there is that the impact time is not really infinite. Even if you hold it for a long time, eventually it runs out. Not sure exactly why, I mean... Yeah, I guess it does. That's also not enough, even with the gold coin. Yeah, I don't know, should I abandon this one? I'm gonna do one more try, but it seems that... Oh, okay, I guess we're not doing one more try, I guess it didn't let me. Well, fuck you too. The issue is that it's also pretty hard to tell where a gold medal that you didn't get, where it was, you know? Like, pretty hard because you don't have an overview of the gold medals per location like the previous game had. No, oh, you actually, okay, you want the crash to be on the other side. Right there, the gold coin actually threw me off. That the gold coin will mean that you were intended to crash there, but no, and I fucked up again. Damn it. Come on, it's not that hard. Not to mention that this might be the one that you actually get the crash without needing to be perfect. I mean the crash. I meant to say the gold medal. I don't know why I say the crash. Happens. Or will I? It appears to me that they are getting a little bit stingy with the traffic, which means that I think the gold medals stop being free. Correct. So should I tell the crash events to suck a cock? I feel like I should, because if you're gonna be this picky, I'm not gonna bother perfecting this shit, you know? I can tell you that right now. Because right now, to me, it seems that you are pretty picky. Very, very picky. Yeah, see, like in this street, for example, you only have those traffic cars and that's it. Like, no newer ones appear, so maybe you're intended to get the explosion that is in between the buses, so you also take the buses down with you, and they also give you more cash. Yeah, that could be the case, but it's not that easy to land there. And in fact, I didn't, and the camera didn't help. But I'm pretty sure that you are intended to land on that explosion. Alright, I'm gonna try that a couple more times, but as I say, I don't wanna try hard crash events. Like, if they are not mostly free, I'm not gonna bother. I don't find crash events enjoyable enough to try hard them to that degree. As you can see, unfortunately, the strength of the crash breaker, I think it's called, that you have is very small. So when you try to fly to that item, it's not very easy to do. But I still got the gold though. The explosion wasn't necessary, but we are getting into very tight territory here, and I'm not very comfortable with that. If it's gonna be that hard, I think that... Well, we will keep going for now. There's only 3 more I wanna do before I switch to the muscle category. 305,000. No, 350,000, my bad. Huh. I went through that. That's useless. Unless you can get the front lane, you're not gonna have enough. It feels like a lot of these are done with the fact that you are not gonna use the jump starting mine, I feel. This one seems to be fully optimized to be done like without that. I keep missing the front lane. From that, I guess I shouldn't aim to the explosion, I should aim to the bus so it pushes me backwards to stay in the front lane, but the issue is that the explosion is right in front of me. Very hard not to take it. I fucked that. That was my bad. That was 100% my bad. It seems that the crashes are quite sensitive in here. It's fine though. I'll get it. So even with something like that, you still move pretty... Well, at least that was enough to catch the front lane, but even the explosion wasn't that extreme, I guess. So wait, was that a good... crash or not. Because you're only pointing at this, guys. It was good enough for a goal. So yes, it was a good crash. How many more do I need? 1 or 2? I think only 1, right? Like I had 18 and now I have 19. No, I now have 18. Let me... It's like I'm preemptively coping as I really want to move on to the races. To be fair, what I should have done is just ignore the crash events altogether. It's just that since I've been able to get the gold medals in the previous 2 games, kinda want to get all the gold medals here too, and the crash events are part of those gold medals. It will be nice. Wow, that was a very far jump. Wow, that's crazy. Unfortunately, I miss every single coin in the way, but the crash itself was very good. And the fact that it involved all of those buses that park there would also give me a lot of points. Yeah, that was more than enough. Well, but still pretty close. That's the thing. It seems that you are not gonna have, since the multiplier is not a thing, that is like the biggest change of a score you could possibly have. It means that the scores will be mostly very tight if you want to get the gold medal. Dead end. And this one will be the last crash event before moving on to the muscle category. I guess they both take more or less the same amount of time, like if I do them like this. Just that they are more crash events, since crash events take less time than the racing events, right? Wait, I didn't see that guy, my bad. I saw it when it was too late. I wasn't expecting it to appear in the first place. My bad. We're supposed to dodge a bunch of stuff there. Unless I push him far enough. Oh, I did push him far enough. I got 1 coin, better than no coins, I think. I don't even know where the gold coin is though. Oh, it was back there. I guess I didn't see it. Or maybe I saw it and I ignored it because I focused on the crash. But it was enough for the gold. Okay, perfect. So with that I'm moving on to the muscle category and, well, more races of course. Yeah. Let's just do that real quick. So back here, pick muscle. I'm surprised though that you cannot pick that in this screen, since this screen has all of the crash events, but it doesn't have all of the race events. I don't particularly mind. So are all of them gonna have 13 things? I wonder. Ooh, this looks so close to the Angelus from Ridge Racer, from Ridge Racer Revolution particularly. I'm gonna pick it. Also, how is it going, Sunshine? Yeah, I'm doing well. PSP is up there with the PS2 for library. Well, I personally cannot tell since I did not have a PSP when I was younger, so it was a signature tale. So I cannot really say I have experience with the PSP library, but it might be the case. It had a lot of very good games. You know, I keep forgetting that even Project Diva was a PSP game. It had a PSP board. I guess the PSP did have a nice library. Well, the good thing about it is that the PSP emulator is one of the best ones around, so emulating is no issue. Not too bad. Nice. I think in fact the PSP emulator is most likely the third best emulator in the world. With the first one being Dolphin and the second one being DuckStation. And coincidentally, well, no, I was about to say that they are all from the same, no, they are not from the, actually they are all from very different periods of time. I mean, they are mostly from, yes, 90s to 2000s. It runs very well on low-end mobile hardware, yeah. That's pretty much why. Like, I remember that I never had any issues to run every single game on my previous PC that had a relatively weak processor, but it would run PSP games perfectly. Just like, well, Dolphin as well, like, keep in mind that I was able also in my previous PC to run F-Zero Shiets at full speed on my previous PC, and that's supposed to be one of the hardest games to run in the Dolphin emulator, and yet I was able to. I mean, there were some tweaks I had to do to the configuration, but the thing is that it was enough with those tweaks to simply run at full speed. That was absolutely great to me. The Dolphin definitely takes the gold medal. This one, I think it's a very strong third place. And the only reason why it's third and not second place is because compatibility-wise, there are some games that still struggle a little. While DuckStation usually has near 100% compatibility. Not 100%, there are still some exceptions, but it just runs very well. And it's also fantastic interface-wise. Well, if I'm not mistaken, it's alongside Dolphin, probably the best UI for an emulator. Well, and in fact, the PS2 emulator had to take the interface from DuckStation because they realized that their previous interface was absolute trash. And yes, it was absolute trash. But yeah, PPSPP, this emulator also has a very good UI as well. In fact, it certainly looks like a professional paid program instead of something that is like an emulator made by a community for free, you know. So that's pretty good. In 14 takedowns. And the road rage events in this game are gonna be miserable to get. In the previous one, the highest number that you were required to get takedowns on a single event was 24, but this one, at this rate, 24 is not gonna be the highest amount. If we're only on the second category and you already have 14, I'm pretty sure that the highest amount is gonna be around 30, unless they slow down with the increases, I guess. They don't look like they are slowing down. Nice try. What's the worst emulator to you? Well, the thing is that saying the worst emulator is that it's hard to tell because I most likely don't know what is the worst emulator. Because bad emulators are emulators that nobody uses. Now, if you ask me what's the worst emulator I use, it's a good question. What's the worst emulator? No, actually, I'm not sure. Because the problem is that there are some emulators that are so shit that they barely run any game. Like in the sense that, for example, there is an emulator called Viva Nono, which is supposed to be an emulator for Namco System 22. It's an arcade cabinet. The thing is that it runs like only 3 games, and it doesn't even run them properly either. So there are examples like that, but I feel like that's also a very boring answer because there are a ton of emulators like that that are not even worth considering because they are that shit, you know? No, to me RPCS3 is a good emulator. I mean, the fact that it emulates some PS3 games near perfectly is a feat that is worth of praise. Yeah, some games it doesn't run them well. It didn't win a medal. Nice, pretty cool. It's what I say, they went a little bit overboard with this shit. With this roll race event. A little bit too much. Wait, where was even that event though? This one, right? I'm not sure. But yeah, what's out to say? If we're talking about popular emulators, like here's the thing. I think that to qualify the worst emulator, what one should do is take the best emulator from a platform. Obviously, in this case, the one that I mentioned, Viva Nono, wouldn't work because Mame is a superior emulator for that machine even, for the Namco System 22. So, if we're picking the best emulator from each platform, I think that the best example will probably be Semu, which is the Xbox emulator. That emulator, it's supposed to be emulating a console from the same generation as the PS2, and yet it cannot even run like 25% of the library properly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it can run even less than that. And even the games that it can run, the emulator is so demanding that you open it and it feels like you open a Bitcoin miner. So I think that has to be the worst emulator I ever used. But I'm saying that I use it is an exaggeration too, because I couldn't even use it. I open it and I immediately close it because I'm like, you know, my PC is gonna blow up at this rate. And yeah, the fact that even the games that run very badly. Like, you go to the compatibility page of that emulator in a game that apparently is categorized as playable, and it has a list of like 20 issues. So yeah, very nice playable game you have there. So yeah, Semu is most likely my answer, because there is no other better emulator for Xbox. So that's like the representation of Xbox, and it's such a piece of shit that it's embarrassing, especially when, you know, the equivalent of that emulator in terms of generation are both PC Edge 2, which is not a perfect emulator by any means. It still sucks quite a bit, but it runs a lot of games. And if you have a good computer, you can pretty much say that it runs the majority of games. But yeah, like you compare it to that emulator and it's day and night. And it's not the only one, you also have the Dolphin. I mean, the Wii is essentially from the same generation as both the... Well, the Wii and the GameCube are from the same generation as the PS2 and the Xbox 360. So, sorry, the Xbox, the original Xbox, right? So, taking that into account, yes, the price goes to Semu. An absolute piece of shit. In fact, if you try to run it sunshine, you're not gonna be able to. You won't be able to run that. Forget about playing a game on it. Like, you are not even gonna be able to run it. But if you try to run the PS2 emulator, you most likely will. Even though some games are not gonna work at full speed, perhaps, but at least it will run. Look at this guy vlogging. But yeah, Semu will have to take my vote as the worst one. Try running Project Gotham, Semu runs like shit, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, even a relatively popular game like... Well, I guess it's not as popular as something like Halo or Ninja Gaiden, but it's still quite popular. So even if a game like that cannot run, what's left for the less popular games, you know? And well, Forza Motorsport is also one of them. I didn't even try to run it because of what I mentioned of like the PC running with the fans super loud, so I didn't even attempt to run it. But for what the reports of the people that run it mentioned, the Forza Motorsport doesn't even like run properly, in the sense that, you know, you can be playing it for a while, and the longer it's on, the worse it performs until it's fully unplayable. And that plus a lot of other bugs that essentially, you know, don't really make it playable whatsoever. I can't believe that this mission is taking me so much to... Okay, I'm gonna do one more try of this mission, and if it doesn't work, I'm moving away from it. I think that it was an absolute mistake to do what they did with the takedown amount. They made the takedown amount way too big. It's whatever. Well, maybe I should wait until I unlock a car that is better prepared for this. It's just that you cannot see the stats of the car, so you cannot know what could be better. You can only guess. Shit. Damn it. I feel like I should have hit that already. I guess it didn't count. You know, I guess I gotta take back what I said at the beginning, that doing takedowns in this game is easier than in Burnout 3. No, it's pretty much the same logic. It's still not like in Burnout Revenge that it's way easier. I look at that. Are you telling me that none of those interactions were enough for a takedown, really? I thought that was one of the... See, the problem is that one of my opponents is a Tatsi. But when I see a taxi as part of the graphic, of the traffic, sorry, I think that it's an opponent, but it isn't. It's just the traffic that you're supposed to avoid. Okay, this event is gonna suck a dick. It's just not gonna happen. It's way too hard and for absolutely no reason. I hope I don't need to beat it though, guys. For what I'm looking at there, it's not like there are too many other options. You only have this eliminator one. But if this one can unlock the rest, then you know, no problem. But if you cannot, that would be an issue. I think this track is also from Burnout 2. They essentially have content from both 2 and 3. I think 1 is nowhere to be seen. Nice crash. At least a good thing is that the respawn is a lot better, or rather a lot faster than in Burnout 3. In Burnout 3, respawn sometimes will easily take like 5 full seconds. Here it seems that they take 3 at most, but for the most part it's even less than that. Actually, hold up, this track is from Burnout 1, isn't it? I think it is. Wow, I wasn't expecting them to actually include Burnout 1, but I'm pretty sure this one is from Burnout 1. I think it is. Damn. Pretty nice of them to include content from all of the previous games. Pretty cool. It is true also that some tracks from Burnout 1 and 2 look quite similar, but I think this one has to be from 1. Just that at this point I'm kinda mixing the 2 games together, so it might actually be from 2. What I know for sure is that it's not from 3. Like, this track is definitely not from 3. Was that really a crash? Yes, it was. You know what you call it? Concrete keys. I crashed against a stone wall. Well, there is quite a difference between concrete and stone. Concrete is something man-made. Stone is something completely natural. Well, a stone is pretty much a fossil, right? But the ones here are stones that have been like industrially cut. Why am I crashing so much? How will you stop crashing? Come on, dude. Is your hobby to crash or what? Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I'm crashing every minute here. But what's going on is that I suck. That's what's going on, bro. Surprise, I suck, you know? I shouldn't be sucking this many balls. I mean, on the right side, differently from Road Rage, it does not matter how many times you crash, your car is not gonna get destroyed. And in this particular case, the second place is so far away that I'm not gonna get beaten either, so not a problem. I think that the real issue from this game in terms of difficulty is most likely gonna be the road rage events. Very appropriately using the word rage, for sure. A very appropriate word right here. Straight into the car. Okay, don't worry, the second place is not even close. Yeah, in fact, okay, so it does seem like it's not only in Grand Prix, it's in some missions the AI just gives up pretty much. I don't know why, but hey, whatever. As long as it works that way and not the opposite, I'm fine with it, you know? I don't mind. So that was a cool car, but... I don't know if I... Oh, another road race? This is a different road race. But I could try picking this one. I don't know if it's better than the other one I use for road race, but... I don't think that matters as much as the objective. Yeah, and the objective is also 14 here. In blue. You are going overboard. Great start. Amazing start even. Fantastic start indeed. Let's do that again. Shit. You too. Okay. Those were some very fast takedowns. 3 in a row. Indeed. Some of these songs are pretty crazy. They are crazy songs for a crazy game. It's only fitting. That was unscapable. I didn't know. Come on, don't do 2 crashes in a row. Don't be like that. That was a triple takedown. That's a takedown objective, yeah. Or takedown target, they call it. I mean, essentially a triple takedown in this game is the biggest takedown that you can do at the same time. Since there can only be 4 cars on screen at the same time. Or rather, to make it easier to understand 3 CPU opponents on the screen at the same time, it's the most you can do. So this one was very successful, but it's also because this track is easy. Like, I'm pretty sure that in the previous road race that I couldn't get the gold medal, that one, even if I use the same car, I will still struggle. Because it's not the car, it's the fact that it's such an easy track. And it was an easy track in Burnout 2 as well. But in fact my favorite track from Burnout 2, not because it was easy though, it's because it takes place in a terminal. I always found terminals to be very special. Now, what I don't know if it's in... Wow, I fucked that guy up so badly I made him clip through the floor. Nice. Amazing, even. I was about to say... I don't know if this game, just like Burnout 2, will have day and night versions of their tracks, because interestingly enough, Burnout 3 did not have like day and night versions of the tracks. It only had like a single version. So I don't know if the terminal will have the night version that was in Burnout 2, or if it will only be that daytime version that you saw there. This one also has the 40 takedowns on a single road race event. That's fucked up. That's very hard to do. Okay. Yeah, I try signature takedowns. But rather than I try, I got them by accident, which I'm pretty sure that is what everyone does. Everyone gets them by accident. It should. So I was out to ask, looking at the position of the map, if this was meant to be Mexico, but no, it's very clearly still the USA judging by the USA flags. So this one has to be California, right? Because California is the state that is the most to the southwest in the USA, right? And there is nothing that is more south than California, right? It's the one that... Yeah, I'm wrong. I think it is the southwest state. But for some reason I have my doubts. Is it actually like does it border Mexico? I had the idea that it was another one, the state that border Mexico. But maybe it does border it. Maybe borders it. I don't know. But regardless, this track is from Burnout 2, and I guess it was meant to be California in that game. It was supposed to be a face-off event, so I'm supposed to have a rival constantly on my ass here. Well, not a problem. Okay, now it's a problem. Now, oh, okay, never mind. He didn't overtake. Surprisingly. I guess he's not constantly behind me after all. I was not expecting that fence to be so close. But, you know, these fences, if they were actual physical fences, you could just go over them, but these are fences that above them they have an invisible wall, so if you fly above them, you will still get hit as if you didn't fly above them. So I find it pretty funny how the Electronic Arts thing that shows up with the information of the song takes up such an insanely big amount of screen. You see, obviously this is a It's meant to be a handheld screen, so there is not much room to put stuff, you know? It's pretty funny. Well, especially because it completely fully blocks the boost meter. You cannot look at it. I thought it was gonna be a crash. So no crash for now. It was like a very weird acceleration there. Like I started going very, very fast after that grid. It's fine. This my rival is still pretty far from me. I shouldn't worry yet. The keyword being yet. Oh, he's 7 seconds. Oh, I'm 7 seconds ahead. But yeah, maybe that thing happens in every type of a race event. If you get far enough from whoever is behind you, they are not gonna rubber band their way back to where you are, making it essentially free. So that's something that, as I mentioned, I remember seeing it in like as a possible emulation issue. The answer was, hey, what if it actually happens on a real PSP? And that's something I obviously have no way to confirm, but it could be the case. I mean, it would be weird if it was an emulation error, because usually, I mean, it can happen, but usually it wouldn't affect the AI. And if it affects the AI, it wouldn't even make it functional, while currently it is functional, you know? I'm not sure. I don't think it's emulator related, but you never know. It could be. I don't care enough though, because it's not like there will be any way to fix it. And the most, like the hardest events anyways here are very easily the road race events where you're constantly gonna have a group of cars that will try to be next to you so you can take them down. So at that point, the real hardship is not affected. And not to mention burning lap events like this one. Oh, and by the way, this is the same, well, probably a longer, I don't know if it's longer, but this is the same sector of burning labs that in Burnout 3 you do with the hot rod, and that's like one of the hardest events in the game. But here, instead of doing it with a hot rod, you do it with a decent car, so maybe it won't be that hard. Not to mention that because of how hard that event was, I kinda know the sector by memory. So I did get into a crash. Considering that the goal was 130, now it's definitely not gonna be enough. It could still be enough since it was 135 and there is only one corner remaining, so it's gonna be very close. It actually will be. No, it wasn't enough. I can't fucking was that really necessary to make me not get it by one stupid hundredth of a second? I only won. Was that really necessary? God damn it. I mean, obviously I admit the fact that I got into 2 accidents, so I cannot pretend to get the goal just like that. But the fact that thing is that it was only by 100. If it was for more time, I wouldn't mind. It's like whatever, I deserve it. But then 100 is like it's just the game trying to piss me off on purpose. Yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it. Careful. The traffic is still very scary in this track. It doesn't seem like you have that much room to maneuver in the first place. What the hell? The fact that I didn't crash there was a miracle. Yeah, that bus showing up from nowhere. Not much I could have done there. At least that respawn was good, because it essentially made me respawn on the following corner. Okay, careful with this corner. And after this, if you pass it, you're pretty much free. Nice. But nothing compared to the hot rod burning lap from Burnout 3 that was so hard to beat. Okay, don't worry about it. Get it for free. Okay. Yeah, I saw it. For some reason, it's the only reward that doesn't let you skip. When it shows you the... when it shows you the cars that you unlock, you can skip it. You don't need to wait until the whole animation ends. Well, it's not like the animation ends in the first place. It's simply, you know, the car keeps spinning. I don't know if it auto skips though. The point is that the postcards you cannot skip them for whatever strange reason. They really want you to look at the photo. Yeah, I know the target is there. So that little cutscene happens every time that you overtake it and you take a long time to... I know, every time you overtake it, it seems. That's the condition. And remember here that if what we want is getting gold medal, you need to do it in 2 minutes, which essentially means leaving. So takedowns are possible to be done here. It's just that they seem to be way harder to pull out to pull off than regular events. Wait, this already unlocked the Grand Prix? No way. Okay. No, since I have 6 goals, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 10 crash events. This is pretty much the halfway point. Let's do that. And then leave it for today, I guess. So that way tomorrow I can start with a race event instead of starting with a crash event. Damn, though this one already looks pretty hard. 600,000. Probably it's one of those where you can take down a lot of opponents at the same time. Yeah, or you can also take none. It depends on how you start, but if you start like that, you're gonna take none. That's for sure. Yeah, don't worry, we got this one. There is also an explosion. Okay, no, you're pretty clearly intended to go for the explosion and then fall to the bottom, right? Because where the explosion is, there is a whole lane of traffic. Like here. You can do that and then fall on, well, assuming the camera lets me see where I'm landing, which it didn't, and judging by the crash breaker not increasing, I guess I didn't land where I should have. But yeah, like, how about you let me look at where I'm going? That would be pretty nice. If you ask me, of course. If I cannot look at where I'm looking at where I'm going to, I mean, you want me to? This game has the same camera issues that the previous game has, unfortunately. Oh, I think the problem is that I'm hitting the concrete wall. That's the issue. Like, I'm not falling because I'm not going far enough, but not like the explosion can be higher than, like, bigger than that. It's only gonna be like that and that's it. Maybe I need to take it from a different angle. Okay, that had to work. But again, I cannot see where I'm landing, so... But I did hit one of them. I don't think I hit them all, though. I guess it will have to be decent enough. I cannot get the goal, though. There are a lot of cars that I did miss. I don't know how much volume of cars crash this is. Oh, it's more than enough. Okay. Nice. It was pretty clear that you had to hit both the top and the bottom. Alright, give it to me. I don't know if I can beat 10 events though before finishing the stream. I mean, it's not like I have to finish the stream at a very specific time, but we will see. I believe. Shouldn't be that hard. Avoid those. Oh, that's actually quite useful. I don't know if I was able... Yeah, I did get both lanes. I did miss the gold coin, so I hope that doesn't matter too much. Pretty hard to tell. Well, it seems that I did cause a big enough disaster though. Yeah, way more than enough actually. Wait, why does it say player 1? My save file has a name. It's... Wait, my save file... No, but this autosaves. Yeah, okay, never mind, it autosaves. It was a little bit late. I almost remember that, yeah, I didn't manually save. Yeah, PSP still supports autosave. I mean, autosave started being a thing in this generation, and it seems that it never stopped. The gold medal is on the very middle. Oh, I couldn't get it. I missed everything. Hold up. Is there any explosion item here? Because that looks like the kind of thing that you will need to trigger an explosion to do. Well, I didn't see anything where the buses were parked. Okay, there is one, but... Okay, no, there is one, actually. Alright, so the best thing I can probably do here is not care about the coins and go straight for the explosion item and hope that that's enough to hop to the other explosion item. I think it should be. So the hard part is being precise enough to go in between the trucks. That's very hard to do, and especially at that speed. Yeah, that will take some attempts for sure. I got it, and then here. Nice. Oh, one of the trucks was able to escape, which ironically might make it so this is not enough for the goal, because keep in mind that those guys are the ones that are mostly responsible for giving you a lot of scores. So it's still enough though. Seems that in these events there is just a lot of traffic in general, so Doesn't seem like it will be a problem. Okay. Silver Lake. Yeah, the crash aftertouch unfortunately kinda sucks. Even more so than in Burnout 3, so you should not rely on that. Well, I guess you need to rely on that in specific missions where there's nothing else you can do. For the most part, I think that it's better to not have to rely on. And I got the wrong explosion. We're supposed to get the left one. Well, you can get both, but I'm pretty sure you want to go for the left one first. And I didn't. Well, I will go now for that. Actually, there are many explosions that you can take here. Okay, that's a pretty nice disaster. I don't think I will. Yeah, there is no way I can somehow reach the gold coin all the way from here. No, it's as I say, you cannot rely on the crash after touch here. It's extremely unreliable. Alright. But at least most of these are mostly free. Unlike the ones that I played some minutes ago, those ones don't seem to take that long. Okay. Well, one of the... Oh, never mind. I don't remember where I got the silver one. I got one silver medal. No, I think it was in Asia. Probably. I also like how they completely ignore the southern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere doesn't exist. Pretty funny. What the hell? I don't know where the gold coin was though, but that wasn't the right crash because I completely neglected the left lane, so no, that ain't gonna make it. That is not gonna make it. But something that I do realize actually is that all this time my camera has been blocking the amount. I completely ignore all of them. My camera is blocking the medal amount. So yeah, sorry about that. Well, this one is 425,000. The thing is that in PSP games it's very tricky to know where to put the camera, since for the most part they are games that the whole camera is used, you know. Need you to let me go to the other side, but you won't. Yeah, this one will actually be hard to somehow manage to hit both sides at the same time. I will try to not do a jump start. I feel like that will make the timing better on the explosion. Not really. I mean, it's only better if you manually brake, but I feel like manually braking kinda goes against the whole point. But yeah, it's pretty clear that if you don't manually brake, you're just gonna get on. I could also avoid the booster, but the booster makes a huge difference. We will see that. Okay, that seems to have been the right choice. But that stupid palm tree cucked me so badly, dude. I can't believe I got cucked so badly by a palm tree. Yeah, that's the right choice. Don't do the Shamstar and don't pick up the boost power up. And just go normally. Wait, I'm an idiot. I pick up the boost power up. I didn't mean to. Well, it still took out the boss. Oh, and there, I guess I didn't even need to go to the other side since those guys took them down by themselves. Nice. Well, that should be enough. That should be why. I mean, if that's not enough, like you will need to be close to perfect. Actually, it almost was not enough. Didn't I say 425,000? It actually almost was not enough. Man, that's crazy. You got another one of these cars that you essentially cannot use anywhere. Pretty cool. It's fine. Well, you can use them in the non-world tour events. Yeah, I mean the non-world tour mode. Wow, I perfectly avoided everything. Nice. Except that wasn't the objective, mister. This is not Toho. You're not supposed to dodge, you're supposed to hit. Okay, that would have been impressive if that was the case, but no, it isn't. So this one, going at this speed towards this explosion is a little bit too much. I think there was a lane. Okay, no. the whole thing pretty much worked. I still couldn't pick the gold coin, and it might be necessary here because the objective is 650,000. Oh, we got it. By quite a lot, actually. Don't worry about it. This one's, as long as you actually manage to get the crash, it seems that the gold medal is thankfully relatively free. But only for now. We cannot get too cocky. Not yet. Yeah, that's fine. Now, I wonder how many, because if there are 13 race events in every category, that essentially means that there are more crash events than there are race events. And that was probably also the case in Burnout 3, so that is quite crazy. Though this is a roundabout, is that gonna work properly with that? I don't know if there is a lane of cars that we didn't get though. Unfortunately, I missed to pick up every single coin. We did get many cars, but it wasn't necessary. Okay. I don't remember this roundabout crash being a thing in Burnout 3, but it probably was. I mean, there were so many in that game that remembering them all will be impossible. Not to mention that most of them, I got them on the first try, so I will not remember them, obviously. Since they were so easy, I will only remember the hard ones. And there were only a very small amount of hard crashes in the previous game. In this one, I hope it's the same, but we don't know. So 450,000 for gold. That's a good explosion. That was a very good move. I gotta assume that that was good enough. I don't think I could have done that better. I even think I caught every single traffic vehicle, so... Well, it is enough thanks to the coins. If it wasn't for the coins, it wouldn't have been enough. So this, at least from a theoretical standpoint, these crash events are certainly harder than the ones from Burnout 3 because of the lack of multiplier. Like, the lack of multiplier can make some of this very, very tight to get. But I already say that, you know. I just felt like repeating it. Essentially, crash will be harder, yes. And conversely, it seems like the race events will be easier. Wait a second. Did it crash? Oh, it didn't crash. Well, that initial cutscene was a little bit weird. Sure, why not? There's an explosion in the background. And you might need to get that, but a little bit hard to. Like, unless you get it in one shot, it's not gonna happen. They are simply not gonna be able to go there. That wasn't enough. So you are supposed to get it. Damn it. This is... See, the problem is that this one reminds me of the ones that have like the multiplier behind one of the streets that you are supposed to collide with. That it makes it so it's hard to reach because you're supposed to first crash. Nice, very good. Problem is that restarting this event for some reason takes a shit ton of time. I think the other ones also might show like, you know, like this camera angles at the beginning, but for some reason when you press continue, the other ones don't take that long, but this one takes a long... It's like you have to load twice for some reason. Very weird. Whatever. The problem is that as long as I keep crashing against that asphalt, that will keep happening, and I cannot get to the other side. So, like, ideally you want to hit the explosion, make the track get into the accident, and then go straight into the other explosion, but this guy keeps getting in the way. I can't do much. It will. I don't know if that second explosion does much, though. It doesn't seem like it even reaches the bus. But if you don't reach the bus, I don't know what else you would reach. There's nothing else. So if this is not enough, I don't know what the strat will be. It actually won't be enough. Alright, well, this one will suck a go, I guess, because I don't know what miracle you're asking me to get here. Like, what else do you want me to do? I'm gonna retry one more time, but I really don't understand what the gimmick is. You're being too picky for no reason. There are not many more vehicles that can get involved here. And you certainly cannot crash at the beginning either. I failed the jump start. I don't know if that might be a problem or not. I mean, I guess, yeah, I could do it like that. Did only hit one vehicle, one bus, but I did get all 3 coins. So that might make a difference, or at least I hope it will. Will it? do you get at least a bonus for getting every single... Well, it was enough. But it was enough only because I got every single coin. Like, the combination of score was enough. Damn, what a picky event. Like, that one... I mean, aside from that one where I got silver, and I still haven't gotten gold yet, that one might have been the hardest crash event so far. Like, a little bit less and you don't get it. So that's fine. And this one will be the last one, assuming I can get gold, that is. If I can get gold, this one will be the last one. I trust that I should be able to get gold. It's one of those that you need to get both lanes. That means that I keep... Oh, okay, that tank might help me, yeah. It actually did help me. I got very lucky there, though one track was able to escape, but I got the rest, and I think that simply by the sheer amount of traffic cars, this was enough. It was enough. Though not by a lot, I think the goal was 450,000. But getting the coins wasn't hard, and switching lanes, even if I didn't get lucky there, if I hadn't get lucky there, it still wouldn't have been that hard to switch lanes. So yeah, I guess with that we can finish for today. I will, just in case, manually save. So here you can essentially see, well, it's my god, it says events oh, there it is. No, it doesn't tell you the gold medals unless it's in records. No, the records is times. So it tells you events completed, but events completed is not the same as gold medals because it says 50. Remember, I got 13 from the first one in terms of races, right? 6 from the second one, so that's 19, and then 30 crash events is 49. So it says 50 because of that silver medal with the crash event. So it doesn't care about the gold medals. Unlike the previous game, this one does not care. It only cares how you completing the events. Well, it cares in terms of rewards, but in terms of the progress that it shows you, it does not whatsoever. So that's a shame, but whatever, let's say. Yeah, right there. I mean, there is automatic save, so something that is not necessary. I always like doing it. Anyways, that will be it for me for today, so thanks everyone a lot for watching, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow with more of this game. So have a good one, and take care.